Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector. Top of the morning to you. I cannot believe that we have made it to yet another Friday. Shouts out to you, man. Shout out to you if you made it through the week and if you were able to navigate the complexities of the work week. You are a champion. But I did want to respond to some comments that I've gotten over in the last 24 hours or so, and just pick out a few to comment or respond to, rather, this morning. And I'm going to open up with the first comment, which comes from Nick Neal 8676. And Nick Neal says, have you ever considered while you make these videos to put gameplay in the background? Well, Neil, that's a very, very good question. Thank you for asking. So I make two types of videos, Neil. I make one type of video, which is this format, which is a really more so kind of like an off-the-cuff video that I shoot from my phone, where there's no background music, there's no B-roll. It's just me and you. And we're having a, just an off-the-cuff conversation talking about whatever it is that I'm talking about that day. And I don't add music or gameplay footage behind these videos because they're usually shot on the go, on the fly, and I don't really have a lot of time to edit. These are pretty much film and upload type videos. So the short answer is yes and no. If you're looking for videos with like background music and B-roll, those are videos that I typically put out on the weekend when I have like an opportunity to kind of sit down and put all of that footage together. So I should have a video like that coming out this weekend. And if you're interested, I welcome you to join in and view. But thank you for your comment, Nick Neal. It's appreciated. All right, so next comment that we have here is coming from, let's see here. All right, so we have so I put out a video yesterday talking about the hard truth. And I got a comment from Wansome-ZS5SQ. And so Wansome, he says, I remember in 2011 when Game Chasers made a video about finding Little Samson. The price on the game literally doubled overnight. I thought, whoa, I better grab the really expensive stuff I want ASAP. That year, I went on a massive spending spree. Stuff was starting to go up prior to that, but I saw the power YouTube had over prices. When everybody was going after NES and SNES, I had most of what I wanted from those systems. I was buying PS1 games pennies on the dollar, and no one wanted the stuff. Same with PS2 and GameCube. I was buying games for systems when no one wanted them. My biggest regret is not going after Saturn games when I had a chance. And shout out to you, Wansome. Very good story. Thank you for sharing. And, the effect that I think YouTube had on collectors and gaming is I think that what YouTube did was it exposed people to games that they had never heard of. And I think, when people finally saw that there were these games that they had never seen or had never gotten the chance to play, I think people just wanted to play them. And, in trying to play them, of course, you have to go out and buy them. And I think that's where we saw a lot of that spike in pricing. And that was born out of people just saying, okay, now's my opportunity. I have a bunch of stimulus money. I'm sitting at home and I have nothing to do. So let me go ahead and buy a bunch of video games. And I know prices were rising prior to the pandemic, but the pandemic was just like fuel to the fire. And it just made the price spikes that much greater. Now, here's the thing. I don't want anyone to feel like you should never feel bad that you weren't able to take advantage of cheaper prices when they were available, 10 or so years ago. because odds are you were probably spending your time and your money on things that were just as important to you at the time. You know, back then, I was saving money for things like a car. I was saving money for things like a house. And was I able to buy video games at cheap prices back then? No, but I was able to buy other things at cheap prices, things that I needed, things that I wanted. And so you shouldn't have like this reverse buyer's remorse that you weren't able to capitalize on, you know, cheap gaming prices at a time where you weren't even looking for those types of games. And I think that's kind of the space that people get caught in, where they're like, oh man, if I would have only known, you know, back 10 years ago what game prices would have been, man, I would have bought up a bunch of games. What do you think people who invest in the stock market think every day? They're probably thinking, man, if I only would have known what Apple was going to be today, or if I only would have known the value that Tesla would have had today, I would have bought up a bunch of Tesla stock, or I would have bought up a bunch of Apple stock. Or, you know, you can have that kind of feeling towards anything that you missed out on. Imagine all of the people who want to purchase homes today, right? Who can't because they're priced out, and they're thinking, man, I should have bought a house back in 2012 or 2014 or 2016. And they probably beat themselves up every day because they feel like they missed out on a golden opportunity. So be grateful for where you're at now, and be grateful for the opportunities that you have now. Because guess what? If inflation continues on this path, 20 years from now, people are going to be saying the same thing about the prices we're paying now. So, but want some, man, I'm sure you're happy, and I'm glad you were able to capitalize back then, because Lord knows these game prices are getting out of control today. All right, next comment we have here is from Kyle Landry, 6248. And he responded to the same video, and he said, no reason to be flattered, because it's not Y2K who is making the video game prices go up. It's every YouTube channel, and the commenter meant that in general, not just one YouTuber specifically. No need to be on a high horse. So Kyle, I think, yeah. So Kyle Landry, thank you for your comment. And I'm not sure if you listened to what I was saying in the video, but I didn't say that it was my YouTube channel that caused the prices to go up. I said that I was flattered that he included my channel in the list of YouTubers that were causing prices to go up. So I'm well aware that my channel is not the reason that prices have gone up, right? Like I'm fully aware of that. You know, you can look to many other people such as Metal Jesus Rocks, Phoenix Resale, you know, you name it. There are tons and tons of YouTube channels that we can easily place that blame on, and I'm fully aware that my channel is not one of them. But but thank you for the comment. You know, I guess, yeah, just thank you for the comment, and no high horse here, man. These are video games, right? There's nothing to be on a high horse about with video games. They're video games, guys. Let's take it easy, right? Like, these are pieces of plastic with some paper glued to them and some metal inside them. If video games has anyone feeling like they have the right to be on a high horse, your priorities are not in order, right? But again, thank you for the comment. Okay, next up, let's see. So we got another one. Well, we got a comment right after his, responding to the same video, and this came from Gaming Sasquatch 334. He says, "I'm with you, Y2K. I've been going after PS3 and Xbox One games. I am fortunate enough to be able to do this, but I agree. I buy games as cheap as possible because I want to play them. Yes, I'm a collector, but a collector who plays all my games. And as long as it works, I'll grab it. Plus, the hunt for the lower price is fun." There you go. So thank you for the comment, Gaming Sasquatch. And This is just a classic example of someone who understands the joy of gaming at all levels. And like he said, you know, as long as it works, I'll buy it. And he's right now buying up PS3 and Xbox One games, and that's what it's about. And his comment got 3 likes, by the way. But that's what it's about. It's about doing what you enjoy. Now, me, I am a little bit OCD. I'm not gonna lie. And we all have our quirks. We all have our things about us. When it comes to the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo, I don't need to have them complete in box because I feel like they're hard exterior. Like I feel like the cartridges themselves are enough protection for the motherboard inside. So I never really feel the need to collect the boxes for Super Nintendo games or NES games. The second reason why I never really feel the need to do it is because their boxes are cardboard and just paper just degrades over time. I do have some complete in box Super Nintendo games, but I put all of those in plastic protectors because again, paper it degrades. Now, I don't need to have perfect cartridges, but there is like a limit to how damaged of a game I'm going to take. Here's an example. I have a copy of The Mask on the Super Nintendo, and it's like a little discolored, a little disfigured. Not disfigured, but it's got some discoloration on it. And the label, as you could see, is a little worn. This is probably as rough as I'll go with a cartridge, right? Because I usually like to get my cartridges at least at 8 out of 10 condition, right? So like Axlay, it's not perfect, but at least it's decent. Yeah, you can tell it has some wear on it, but it's in decent condition. Super Metroid, yeah, you can tell it has some wear on it, but it's in pretty good condition. This copy of Maximum Carnage that I just picked up from GameStop, yeah, it's got some wear on it, but it's in pretty good condition. So, and then when it comes to like the Sega stuff, as you can see, these games I like to get in their cases because these are the hard clamshells. So those are just some quirks I have. When it comes to the N64 games, I typically don't go for the N64 games that have the stickers on them. If you can tell, like I had to slice through this label when I first got this game because I wanted to open it to make sure it was authentic. It wasn't like this. It came with a very nicely laid sticker on it, but I did the damage here because I'd rather do the damage to the sticker to make sure it was authentic than not check. So that's me, right? So we all have our little quirks and things when it comes to collecting, and different things that we're peculiar about. But when it comes to the retro stuff, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But thank you for your comment, Gaming Sasquatch. Appreciate it. We have another, we'll go through a couple more comments. So let's see here. Oh, here's one from Easy Gamers. Easy Gamers, and he just posted this not that long ago. He said, hell, even I know you didn't cause the inflation, but it was YouTubers though. I actually like some of your opinions, or I wouldn't watch at all. The last few, I think in some ways, you're wrong, but that's why we have our own opinions. Anyways, much respect, man. Thank you, Easy Gamer. I appreciate the fact, I appreciate when folks who come to my channel can respectfully disagree, right? Because that's what this is all about. This is all subjective. We're all here to share opinions. Obviously, certain facts aren't subjective, like, right? So if it's a fact, when we're talking dates, times, stats, if I get that wrong, then you can just let me know down in the comments, and I'm not going to argue facts. But when it comes to opinions on gaming, the opinions on price trends, opinions on the future, any statement that we make about the future is going to be an opinion, because no one has a crystal ball, no one knows the future, and we're all simply hypothesizing based on what we know currently about the gaming market, right? But this is the beauty of a hobby like retro game collecting, is that we're all entitled to our opinions. We all are entitled to, what we think about a game, how we view, potential collecting in the future. And as long as it's respectful, man, we can have the discourse and have the conversation all day. I can't tell you how many times people disrespectfully disagree. And you know, when you do things like that, it's at that point it's no longer a dialogue. It's just toxic, disrespectful, and things like that I don't even entertain. When folks try to come to my channel spewing hate or spewing disrespect or things like that, immediately get blocked and removed, because that's not what this space is about. It's about healthy dialogue, and it's about us just exchanging opinions. I don't always have it right. I don't have all the facts. I'm not a gaming historian, but I do enjoy video games, and I'm a collector. I do like to collect video games. So, and I know at least a good amount about the games that I collect and play. But that does it for me this morning. Just wanted to respond to some comments here, and show some love to the community. Appreciate everyone who's been subscribing. It's been pretty crazy over these past couple days. Just the subscriber growth, the channel growth. And I do have some plans. You know, I didn't even think that we would hit 3,000 subscribers this year. I was feeling hopeful that we would hit 2,000 subscribers this year, because I think when we started the year off, we were at like around 1,500 or 1,600 or so. I can't remember, but yeah, just appreciate all the support. The gaming community is awesome, and let's just continue to enjoy the hobby. So what's up for the weekend? Oh man, so it's a rainy one. It's a soggy, rainy one over here on the East Coast, and the collecting is going to be challenging this weekend because there are no sales or promotions that I'm aware of. I don't think GameStop is doing any like retro or pre-owned games, any promotions on that. I'm not seeing any new games that I'm interested in purchasing. And I don't know if I'm gonna have the time to kind of hit up any retro game stores. And even then, I probably won't go to any retro game stores because they're all listing all of their games at eBay prices anyway. So this weekend feels like it will probably be a weekend of just staying in and playing some games. So I may have like a little bit of a Nintendo marathon and see how many of these NES games I can beat in one afternoon. Because you can play through the Ninja Gaiden games pretty quickly. You can play through these games in about 30 to 40 minutes, all of these. So we'll see how many of those I can get through, and maybe I'll get into some N64 stuff this weekend as well. Let me know what you've got planned for the weekend. It's Friday, we made it. Hopefully the week has treated you well, and I will catch you in the afternoon video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.